Are we recording now?
Yeah, I just turned it
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So you'll edit out all the other stuff.
yeah. I'll definitely
No.
edit out me not knowing how to set up my equipment. That's for sure. Yeah. So you've had time to think about it, and you've listened to a few shows.
Yeah.
Is there a belief you wish to discuss?
I I'm pretty open. I don't like to. I'm not a purist. Like I don't subscribe to just like one belief. That's why my business offers more than crystals. I believe like crystals can help people. I believe that sounds and frequencies, like the bowls, the singing bowls. I believe that helps. I believe in aromatherapy. I just believe in alternative ways of doing things, not just for healing, but also for living.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very interesting belief, and I don't know if we need to narrow that down or not. I sometimes try to think about the listener, and I don't want to. Sometimes it's a little more streamlined. I can give them one straightforward belief, but if the belief is, I believe in alternative treatments, is there maybe one treatment that
That sticks out the
that sticks out the most to you?
I mean, I guess it depends on what we're talking about. Like one treatment as far as healing.
Sure, yeah, something that you feel strongly about, of course.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I'm so much more complex than that.
All good.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm very complex. Like I feel like there is a place for chakra healing with crystals, but I also believe that you can heal your chakras through sound and frequencies and colors and things like that. Foods that you eat, things that I believe in color therapy. I believe, of course in crystals. I always love crystals. Crystals are
Yeah.
beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I don't really know how to answer that. I wish I knew. I wish I could give you a straight, cut forward answer.
And that's completely
I
fair.
don't have it.
And
I don't have
that's
a.
that's fine. And I think I probably asked you that question more for my benefit than yours.
Oh.
So, well, just so it makes it just makes it just more streamlined. But I think we can work with that. So you believe in alternative ways to heal,
Yes.
and that's the belief we can discuss.
Yeah.
But I may ask, more about what you mean about certain things. That's okay. Oh, that's okay. I may, and I can always move that back too.
That's fine.
I may ask about more about definitional things.
Okay.
Just because of what that means. And maybe we should start there. Alternative healing. What does that mean?
That means multiple ways of treating an issue. Like I do believe I feel like there's a place for pharmaceutical. There's a place for medicinal, pharmaceutical healing. Absolutely. I don't believe that one negates or dismisses another. I believe that the spiritual and the physical all work hand in hand. I believe that there's a place for, physicians and doctors and surgeons and things like that. But I also believe that there are things that we can take control of ourselves that we don't, I mean, of course, some things need to be diagnosed. Some things need to be diagnosed. And I believe that there is a place for, some people need medication, but I don't believe that just because you need medication that you can't use crystals to implement it. So if you struggle with anxiety or something like that, and they prescribe you, a medication for anxiety and depression, I believe that you can also have amethyst and you can meditate with amethyst to work together. You know what I'm saying? As an alternative. Well, I don't want to say alternative like one takes away, and you don't need the other, but like
In conjunction with.
In conjunction with. Thank you.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say.
Are we saying that alternative treatments use a different modality? And I know you mentioned spiritual. Is that when we say an alternative treatment, it goes through a spiritual modality, and if you say like medicine or pharmaceuticals, that goes through more of a physical modality?
Yes.
Am I saying that
That's
correctly?
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So an alternative therapy is a therapy that benefits people, and the way it does it, it goes through a spiritual modality.
Yes.
And by spiritual modality, or spiritual, what do we mean there?
It depends on whatever a person works with. Some people, it's religion. Some people, it's, they work with deities and entities. Some people believe in the energy of earth. Some people believe in the energy of, water and different things like that. So it's whatever resonates with the individual. I don't believe that there's a one size fit all.
Okay.
Yeah.
On a scale from 1 to 7, how confident are you that your belief is true and real?
From 1 to 7?
Yeah, we use 1 to 7.
I could be completely wrong. I believe that I don't have the answer to everything. I just know what works for me. And if it works for other people, then that's what I'm here for. So I'm here to cater to people who that would cater to. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure. And I'm
yeah,
just talking about like a confidence level.
confidence
How confident are you?
about spiritual and
The
physical
alternative-
working together.
Well, the belief, as stated, the alternative ways of healing, helping people.
I'm pretty confident. I would say about at least a 5 or a 6.
Okay. And on a scale from 1 to 7, how important is it for you to believe in true things?
How important is it for me to believe in true things? Clarify that a little bit more. That sounds a little tricky. What do you mean by that?
Oh, yeah. So how important is it for the things that you believe in, that those things happen to be true and real, that corresponds with a reality?
I believe it's all subjective. I believe it's each person's individual, experience. I don't know if I'm answering it right.
I think I see where you're coming from. I think you just said that truth in the way I'm describing it is subjective.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
Because truth is different for everybody.
Okay. So I think I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I got you.
I know that it works for me. And there's, yeah, I'll leave it there. It works for me. And if anybody else jives with it, that's good. But
okay. And so that helps. Thank you. And because that actually, that's often one of the questions I ask later on, and you just answered that for me. So I really do appreciate that. And obviously you've given this thought, which is good. So how do you know that your belief is true?
I don't. All I know is the results that I get. I can't, how do I know? Well, no. All right, let me rephrase that. I know what works for me based off of the results that I get from what I do for myself personally on a spiritual level.
So maybe the
So
way
I
you
can't,
know... Right.
I don't know that it would work for anybody else because, again, like I said, I'm not a purist, because I believe that we're all different and unique, just like our fingerprints, and that goes from the physical all the way to the spiritual. And I don't believe that there's a one path. I don't believe that at all.
And I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that, and I think this goes along with what you were saying about truth, is that you know that it works because, or you know that it's true because it works for you.
For me. Mm-hmm.
And it's your personal experience. You've had this experience.
And everybody's experience is subjective and unique to them.
And everybody has a different perspective.
Exactly.
And we'll talk more about that truth, about the subjective truth, as you say. And I find that interesting. But I wanted to clarify one thing first, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe help me out. What's the difference between something working or something healing you spiritually versus something healing you physically? Like, what is the difference between those two ways of healing?
I have to think. I don't like to just spit out answers. What's the difference between spiritual healing and what's the difference between spiritual healing and physical?
Just so I understand, where you're coming from.
I believe that spiritual healing affects the physical,
What is spiritual healing?
the unseen, the subconscious, the things that you can't see with your physical eye, your emotions, your mental, your soul,
So physical healing,
whatever is.
physical things. Oh, please.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
I have a bad habit of cutting people. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
right?
You and me both. So we're going to get along fine. Physical healing uses a way of healing that you can see, touch,
Yeah,
hear.
pills, medication, things like that. Yeah.
And spiritual healing happens in ways you can't see.
Yeah, it's more like meditative. It's more like subconscious things that happen on a you can say mental level, emotional. I believe that the things that are going on internally within us, whether it's emotional or mental, affects the things that happen outside of us. So I believe that they go hand in hand, but I believe that the spiritual aspect controls the natural or the physical.
Oh, okay, that helps. So there's a physical world, and then what's controlling the physical world is a spiritual something.
Yeah, whether it be energy, whether it be a way of thinking, your subconscious, I believe. Yeah.
Right. If we can't, I'm trying to see where you're coming from. If we can't see the spiritual or know it in the same way as the physical, how do we know that that it's there? How do we know about it? How do we gain that truth?
I don't know how to answer that. It's like I know the answer, but I don't know how to. I'm having a hard time articulating it or trying to verbalize it, which I know does not go well with the radio, with the podcast, because we have to kind of help people see, based off of hearing.
Well, just so you know, I think it's a difficult question. No, I really do. I think it's like, and I just want to make it clear that I have the easy part. I can just sit here and ask a question that I can find a challenging question. And so you have the more difficult part. Yeah. And I've also thought about this before too. I'm trying to know, like, how would we know something that you can't know through your senses? Like, how does that happen?
I don't know how to explain it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Mark. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. Is it and I'm really trying to see, is it like a feeling for you? Is it a gut impression you get? Is it, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No.
You seem to know something about the world, and I just want to gain access to your knowledge, like how you know that.
I don't know how to explain it, Mark. It's just a knowing. It's just a knowing. It has a lot to do with intuition and being one with your higher self. Some people call it the Holy Spirit. Some people call it different things. But it's just a knowing.
Maybe this will help. If Fred is sitting next to you, and Fred, for whatever reason, this is just Fred, Fred says, I don't believe in the spiritual, I only believe in the physical. And you say, or I believe you would say, I believe the spiritual and the physical. Mm-hmm. And I'm a third person. I'm just hearing you and Fred talk. Is there any way I could find out a truth, a larger truth there?
I think that everybody could be right in a sense. Like I said, I'm not a purist. Like if Fred does not believe in the spirit, in the spiritual realm, and he's only like what we call in the spiritual community 3D, which is like here on earth, and they're not like 5D, then I believe that I don't know, I kind of got lost.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm lost too, because it's garbage pickup day.
I'm looking at this truck,
Right.
and I feel like I got lost in the sauce of the conversation. I'm like, what was the original question?
You and me both. How about I'll switch it up a little bit and just we'll go back to what we were talking about truth,
Right.
and that maybe that will help, and we can wait till these guys go, and I'll of course cut this part out.
I want you to cut the whole interview out.
Really?
I don't know, because I feel like I'm not answering. Like, I know the answer, but it's like the camera is on, the recording is going, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm not really conveying clearly,
Well, welcome to my world. I don't convey things clearly, probably more often than not.
Okay.
So if I ask you a question and you aren't understanding what I'm asking, it is me, because I have been known to ask convoluted questions and not mean to. So I have these Mentos.
Okay.
I've had this box for months now, and I've never opened it. I don't think I've ever had a Mentos.
Why do you have it?
Here's my example I'm going to give you.
Oh.
So, let's say that there is either an even or odd number of Mentos in this box.
Okay.
I don't know what the answer is. I'm going to assume you don't know what the answer is.
Right.
But could it be said that there is objective, a universal truth there, a non-subjective truth that doesn't matter what we think about it, is just true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you mean, like, even though we can't put our finger on it, it's still like like, even if we can't understand it or make sense of it, it still is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm thinking that maybe that there is either an even or odd number of Mentos in this box, and my subjective truth might not matter to the answer, or maybe it does matter to the answer. And that's why I'm asking you about how you see truth. And I think you're saying that truth is subjective, and then it's true for me. Mm-hmm. And would that be with the Mentos as well, or is it not what we're saying?
That there's an odd and an even number in there?
That either there is an even number or an odd number, and there can't be both, or can there be both? Let's say you believe that there's an even number, and I believe that there's an odd number. Are both of us correct, or is one of us correct, or both of us wrong?
I mean, we can always crack it open and see, but I mean, no. What does it say? Does it say that it's 30, or does it say that it's 31? Like.
So are you saying that there's a certain number that wouldn't matter what we think about it? That there's just a number, whatever that number is? We might not know it, but there's a number there?
I don't know. I'm getting lost again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's me. I think what I'm saying is that you were saying that your belief was true for you.
For me.
And that I think you were implying that other people might have beliefs, they might have a belief that your belief is not true for them. Maybe. And it seems like their belief is correct for them, and your belief is true for you, true and real for you.
Right.
And they're both true.
Right.
And with this example, all I'm trying to see is how something...
How can both be right at the same time?
Yeah, right.
I get you.
Right.
I don't know. I'm okay with not knowing.
That's
All
fair.
I know is what I know for me.
Yeah.
You're saying there's got to be a right or there's got to be a wrong. Is that what I think that's what I hear?
Well, and I don't even know if that's, I'm trying to see if that's what I'm saying. I think what I'm saying is,
There's either 30 or 31.
I'm trying to see how like something could be even or odd at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they can, and I might not know how it can,
Mm-hmm.
but in my mind and the way I think about it, it's hard for me to square that, how it could be an even number and an odd number at the same time. What do you think?
I don't know. It could be 31 and then you just eat one.
Right.
Now there's 30.
So I think what you're telling me is that your belief is true.
I believe that things can be manipulated. I do. I do believe that things can be manipulated. If there were 31 in there and you eat one, now there's 30. I believe that, I just don't, I'm of the belief there's not a one size fit all
Yeah. And I think I see where
in
you're coming from.
spirituality. I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
There's too many diversities just in the physical realm to reflect that to me. I believe that the way it is in the spiritual is the way it is in the natural realm. So there's different types of flowers. There are different breeds of dogs. There are different, shades and heights and weight and of humans and, like, yeah.
I think I see where you're coming from. Let me ask you this then. Let's say you go to a store.
Okay.
And you buy some Mentos.
You love Mentos. And you haven't even had one yet.
You go to the store and you buy some Mentos. And let's say you give the cashier $5. And the cashier gives you back only $1. And which means she has shorted you, let's say, $2. I have no idea how much Mentos cost. I forget. But like something, she shorted you. She only gave you $1 back and she should have given you, let's say, $3 back. And you tell her, looks like you made a mistake and you didn't give you enough money back. And then she tells you, well, it's my truth that I only owe you $1. And I believe it strongly. It's my truth. Everyone can have their own truths. And this is what I owe you. What do you think about that scenario?
Well, it depends on how much the price is displayed.
Yeah.
So if it's displayed as, $3 or something like that, and I give her $5 and she only gives me back $1, then...
Well, let's say you both agree on what the price says. And it's obvious she did not give you the correct change.
Mm-hmm.
But she says, it is my truth that I only owe you $1. That's the way my math works in my head. And so, enjoy your Mentos and your $1. And the reason why I bring that up is, is that a scenario where we can still both have our own personal truths, or do we need to have a shared truth at that point, something we can agree on there?
Just like there are spiritual laws, there are physical laws. Okay? So if the physical is saying that this Mentos costs $3, okay, and I give her $5 and she only give me $1 back, the physical law says that she is ripping me off, she is lying, and I then have my legal rights in this physical world to call the police or write up a report or just take my change out of there myself. You know what I'm saying? And then,
I gotcha.
So...
What if she says to you, and she says, you can do all that, and I'll just tell the police that I believe that I only owe you this much change.
Then she will still lose because there are natural laws, and then that there's mathematics, there are physical things, that there are things that we have to adhere to in this physical world.
I
And
see.
you get what I'm saying?
I think I see where you're coming
So there are
from.
laws in
Yeah.
place.
Okay, that's helpful. I see where you're coming from. Good, good. What if she says that I only owe you $1 back because I'm relying on a spiritual law?
That's all natural. The whole scenario is natural. The whole scenario is 3D, so we have to go by the 3D laws, which says, give me my change.
Okay.
Or I'm calling the cops.
All right.
Or it's going to go down, okay?
Okay. I gotcha. Right.
So you...
Right. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't come to that. I think I see where you're coming from. So, in the physical world, maybe what we're saying is that there are laws, and that in the physical world, maybe there can only be an even or odd number of Mentos and not both in the physical world. And I'm trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just trying to see making sure I know where you're coming from. But in the spiritual world, you're not bound by like laws of math or other things.
Or you can manipulate it spiritually.
How do you mean?
Well, there are things that you can do when manifestation, to be able to manifest things from the spiritual realm into the natural realm. There are different things, and people have different ways of doing it. Some people speak words, okay, to manipulate the natural realm. Some people use energies to manipulate the natural realm. Some people envision it and then feel it all at the same time, like to envision and then to feel it as if it's already done. So now you have this Mentos, but you can manifest two things of Mentos. You can manifest as many Mentos as you want, even odd numbers, by being able to manipulate the spirit realm.
So
by being able to manipulate the natural realm through the spirit, energetically, mentally.
I think I see. So in the spirit world, I could have one box of Mentos, and I manifest.
In the natural realm, you can have one box of Mentos, but you can manifest more than one box through the spirit realm.
Okay. So if I'm sitting here with a box of Mentos, and I say to myself spiritually, I want another box of Mentos. I mean, I just want to know how that works. Am I gonna
Will it just pop into your hands?
How will it work?
No, It doesn't just pop into your hands. That's not how that works, usually. I mean, if it does, this isn't Harry Potter, okay?
How will it work then? I'm really trying to understand.
Well, how it works for me, I don't know how other people would do it. For me, if I wanted to manifest another box of Mentos, I would write petitions or, write out a vision of what I would want. I would meditate on that. I would speak it into existence. And then, over time, because there is time, we're trapped in time here in this 3D realm, in this physical realm, we're trapped in time. So things take, it's a progression. There's levels and layers to it. There's timing involved. So I'm not going to say, I want some Mentos, boop, and it pops up in my hand. That's not how it works.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
But in a matter of a day, possibly, I could be in a store and somebody says, you know what, I've had this box of Mentos all the time. I don't want it. You want it? Bam. I got my other box of Mentos.
I think I see.
Because I've envisioned it maybe the night prior or whatever. That's that's how it's worked for me.
I see what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is helpful. What if I sit here and I meditate, pray, manifest, and I sit here for a week, for a year, for 20 years. Let's say I sit here for 20 years and my wife brings me food and I sit here holding this one box of Mentos. Is it possible for me to get another box?
No, because the natural and the physical work hand in hand. Okay, there are things we have to do on our part.
I see.
Okay. So just like with the example that I just gave you with me, I think I want another box of Mentos. I write that out. I speak it. I believe it and I see it in my mind's eye. I feel it as if I already have it. The next day, I'm out and about. I'm at the grocery store. I run into my girlfriend. Hey, girl, how you doing? And she go, I'm fine. Girl, here, take this Mentos or whatever. I had this all this time here.
Right.
I know you like Mentos. I'm going to just gift it to you, be a blessing to you. I still had to get in my car, go to the grocery store, do my shopping, do my part. There are physical things that work. That's why I said the physical and the natural work hand in hand. So there are things. I can't just say I want Mentos, write out a petition and just sit here. I mean, some people could probably have that story, and maybe somebody just accidentally dropped some Mentos, but likely that this,
I think I see where you're coming from.
yeah, there are things that we have to do in the physical realm in order to, make that work.
So what if I do all that and I manifest and I'm what if I never get that? I go through my whole life and I never get that extra box of Mentos. Does that mean that the spiritual world doesn't exist and only the physical world exists?
I wouldn't say that. I am of the belief that you get it. You don't not get it unless it's something that wouldn't, because see, this is this is going into a whole nother thing of belief, like I believe that there's spiritual assistance, that there are people, your ancestors, those who have gone before you, they're now on the other side, and that they kind of help and lead and guide you. If you didn't get those Mentos, it's probably for a reason.
So if I get a box of Mentos, an extra box, and that means the spiritual world is helping me, manifesting is helping me, and if I don't get that box, and it means that the spiritual world is still there, but didn't help me in that way. Mm-hmm. It seems like me getting something from the spiritual world or not getting something from the spiritual world, both would show that the spiritual world is true.
You ask, I mean, it depends on the person. Like I'm raised, believing that the spiritual realm exists. I don't know if I understand the question. You asking me, is it true if you get it or if you don't get it?
Seems like whether I get the extra box or not get the extra box, that both is evidence that the spiritual world is true and real.
I don't know if it's evidence, but I do believe that if it's for your highest and greatest good, if it's not going to harm you or anyone else, well, no, I can't even say that because there are different things in the... I'm lost.
Sorry. I think, I'll try to ask better questions.
No, it's probably not even you. It's probably me. I just don't know how to communicate what it is I'm thinking.
Yeah. Let me ask you some better questions. Let me just try to think this through. Is it possible that you could be incorrect about your belief in the physical world? That the physical world
doesn't exist.
Could you be incorrect about that?
I could be.
I'm wondering how we could go about finding that out, whether the physical world is real.
Oh, God, food for thought, Mark. Food for thought. My God, your questions.
Okay.
How can we figure out if the 3D realm is really here? That's what I think I hear you asking.
I mean, is there any straightforward test, anything we could do? I mean,
I don't know. Some people will say we're not here, and some people will say we are. But I figure if you run out there and you get hit by a truck, you'll find out real quick if you here or not. Then you really won't be here.
Okay, so I think that's excellent. Excellent. Great. So, not that we recommend people doing this at home.
No. We don't recommend that.
Nor either one of us. But if I run out there and I say I believe the physical world doesn't exist, and a car is coming down the street, I think we'll find probably rather quickly whether that's true. Okay. So I think I see where you're coming from.
Some people think it does not exist. There is a group of people that believe, this is not real. I'm not here. This is.
So again, don't try that at home.
Right. You get stung by a bee, or you'll see.
You'll know. So there's evidence of the physical world. There's evidence of there's pain. There's sight of the car. I can hear the car. There's there's things of my senses. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Now, what if I asked you the same question about
the spiritual?
Yeah.
Same thing. I believe that it is what you believe.
It is what I believe.
For the spirit realm. I believe that at the end of the day, everything boils down to faith.
And by faith, what do we mean?
Well, there's a brief definition that everybody knows. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen.
Right.
Like,
how do we know that things? How do we have evidence for things that are not seen, or taken in by senses, or how do we know that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Do our beliefs, the things we believe, does that create reality, or do our beliefs hinge on whatever is true out there in the world? Or if I believe something, can that make it true?
I do believe in that. I do believe that we manifest things all the time. I do. I believe that we manifest things all the time, whether we want to admit it or not. Yeah.
If I believe there's a moon you can kind of see in the sky, but if I believe to my core that the moon doesn't exist, can I make that happen? Can that belief make it so?
To you, but probably not to everybody else, because everybody else sees the moon.
So if I believe...
there are some people who believe that the moon is not real.
Yeah.
There are people who...
Do you believe?
I believe the moon is real.
Okay. Yeah. Me too. I'm wondering how that would work. Like, I'm really trying to understand, like, if I believe that the moon doesn't exist, how could a moon not exist for me, let's say, and exist for you at the same time? I'm really trying to understand, like, how that works, like how the nuts and bolts of that.
I don't know. Everybody's different. I can't speak for everybody. I just know that the moon is real. I see it. It's there.
Yeah. Right.
I can't say what somebody else should believe.
Oh yeah. And I think, and I don't mean to say that people should believe this or people should believe that. I think we're going to say that people, whether someone believes the moon exists or doesn't exist, we can say that's up to them, and we're not going to make a judgment about it. I think I'm just trying to understand how you see the world, like, and sometimes I get a little confused when people tell me things like the moon can exist for one person and simultaneously not exist for another person, because it kind of makes my brain hurt when I think about it, how that happens.
Well, I just focus on me and I wouldn't let my brain hurt about it, because at the end of the day, it's about me. This is my world. We create our own worlds. You know, there are worlds within worlds within worlds on this universe. I mean, on this planet. I have my own world. This right here is your world, your home, your land, your property, your dog, your wife, if you have one. You know, like, you know, you are responsible for you putting your clothes on. You're not responsible for putting my clothes on. And, you know, so I wouldn't put what you eat don't make me crap. There's another way of saying that, but
What was that? Say it
what
again?
you eat don't make me crap. Don't make me use the bathroom. Don't make me, you know, I know
Eat
that's a
doesn't
little
make me
gross,
crap.
but
No, I want to know. This sounds like a great saying I need to know.
you know,
What I eat doesn't make. Okay, I got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Right. No, I'm gonna remember that one.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So yeah, I wouldn't let my head hurt about what other people are thinking. I'm responsible for me. You are responsible for
Right.
you.
I
You know.
wonder if maybe what you're telling me is that all beliefs, if you believe it, are true.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Because I think the only reason why I said that is you were saying that if I don't believe that the moon exists and you believe that the moon exists, and you're saying at the same time, we're right, because moon not existing could be true for me and the moon existing could be true for you. And I'm thinking if that's the case, it would seem that, well, anything we believe would be true, because anyone can believe the opposite and that still would be
It
true.
would be true to them, but it may not be true to the masses. I'm gonna just tell you that. But like, it may be true to them in their mind, the way they see it. Yeah.
To the masses? How do you mean?
To most people, most people would look up at the sky like, well, no, I think you're wrong on that because it's like right there, you know. But this person's like, I don't see it. It does not. Where is this moon? You can't make somebody see that.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't make anybody see anything. You can't make anybody believe or know anything. It's all subjective. It's all about us individually. You can't. It's not a one size fit all with anything.
Yeah. And I know I'm kind of going over the same ground on this, and I'm really trying to see how you see the world here, and thank you for sticking in with me. I appreciate it.
Why do you want to see how I see the world? How do you see the world?
Well, I'm genuinely interested how you see the world. I think I do. I am fascinated by it. I truly am. No, I think what you're saying is truly fascinates me. And I mean that sincerely. And you're asking me how I see the world, presumably with the idea what we're talking about, truth. Yeah. And just the way I see it, I could be wrong. Could be mistaken.
Well, it could be right.
Or it could be right.
We could both be right.
And I've been wrong about things in the past, for sure.
Me too.
I'm thinking that there is a higher likelihood that we have some sort of shared reality. Mm-hmm. That what's true for me in the sense of if there's an odd number of Mentos in this box for me, that because we live in this same universe, that I'm thinking there's going to be an odd number of Mentos for you, and it doesn't matter whether I think it's odd or even. It doesn't matter what you think. It is what it is. Yeah, that's how I think about it. And again, I could be mistaken, and that's why I really like talking about this. I think you see it differently.
I believe in it is what it is. With certain things, yeah. With certain things I do. I do believe it is what it is. Some things just is like, you know. Yeah. And
I think that is what it is extends when I'm just to answer your question a little bit further. And I know we were making a differentiation between the physical world and the spiritual world. And for me, not for me, let me put it this way. I think that there's some pretty good evidence that the physical world exists to some degree, and we share it.
Yes.
And then when we're talking about the spiritual world, and that's always like to ask you a definition about what you mean by it. It's hard for me to know what that means. It's hard for me to put my head around it, and it might be my own limitations of how I can think about things. And the spiritual world, the way you describe spiritual, how it's a way of, there's things that are happening and causing things to happen that we can't measure or know through our senses per se. And that may be the case, but I find I'm not solid on the evidence for that. And for me to believe that, I think I would like a little bit more evidence to believe in it. And so I could believe something that I'm more certain is true.
Okay.
What do you think?
I understand where you're coming from.
And I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I'm just trying to.
No, you can't tell me what to think.
I just answered your question. I really wanted it. And it's more important. It's more important. I really want to know what you think, and that's much more important than.
No, it's not much more important. It is what it is.
Yeah, right.
It is what it is, Mara. You ain't wrong and you ain't right. I ain't wrong and I'm not right. We all, we all trying to figure this thing out.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with it. You're not wrong.
I might be. But I'm okay with it.
But I might be too.
But I'm okay with it if I am. If I'm wrong and and a spiritual world exists that I'm just not tapped into, if I'm wrong about that, I sincerely would want to know it. I would want to know it, and I want to believe it.
Right.
If I was incorrect about it,
right.
I want to believe in true things.
Whatever truth is. What is truth?
In the way I think, and I think the way I was describing it, truth in the sense that it doesn't matter what we think about it. It's true whether I think it's true or not.
Right,
it's just true.
Right.
It is what it is. What you said.
It is what it is.
Right. And that's how I think about something that is spiritual. The definition you gave.
Mm-hmm.
If the spiritual didn't exist, would you want to know it?
Of course, I would want to. I want truth. So even if everything that I've been brought up to believe and raised in is not right or is kind of skewed, I want to know. I want to know.
You and me
who
both.
Can tell me?
You and me both.
It's like, who can tell me that?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm not. I'm not saying I have the corner on the truth for sure.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
Me either. That's why I'm not a purist. If I find out today that there is no spirit realm,
right.
that there, then I would just have to find an alternative way of living.
How would that affect you? And I really want to know: would you be a different person? Would you be the same person? Would people notice a difference in you? Do you think, or would you go about living your life differently, or would you be exactly the same?
If I found out
the spiritual didn't exist,
the spiritual did not exist, what would I do different with my life? I wouldn't have a business because my business is, with the crystals.
Yes. So you'd be in a different business.
So things would be uprooted definitely. But again, I want the truth. If that needs to be uprooted because it's based in lies. Fine. I've lost things before. I've started from zero before. I know how to start over. But
I want to be careful to say that if that was the case, and we're saying it is, but if it was, the way I see it, it wouldn't be a lie. I think the way I see it, and please tell me I could be incorrect. It'd be maybe just part of a journey that we're on. We have a journey that we think of things one way, and then we see something another way. Yeah,
absolutely. I lived that already. Like there's certain things that I believe now that I didn't believe 5 years ago. So
right, and that happens.
And then you you just got to kind of pick up pieces, and move forward instead of beating yourself up. Hell, just with the business that I have, there's certain things that I sell now. That I stopped selling, or things that I've invested in. Like I've invested all that much money on that right there. Now it's just sitting over there because I changed directions. You got to be willing to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
I like that. No, I like that. I think we hold on. My experience is that we hold on to some of these things too tightly.
Yeah.
And that's just been my experience, and in the past, I think I've had beliefs that have held on a little too tightly.
Yeah.
And I just, from my personal experience, I try not to do that as much.
Yeah.
I think the thought is that if you hold on to a belief less tightly, you have more control over the belief than the belief controlling defining you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't think it's good to hold on tight to anything or anybody, for that matter. I've been through a lot, and I've lost a lot.
Yeah.
And it was, a lot of it was due to trying to hold on to people or beliefs, or just wanting something so bad. But as I learned, as I go on my journey and live my life, I learned the looser I hold things,
Yeah.
the better off I am. I try not to be too rigid with anything. I try not to be too unyielding. You get what I'm saying? Because I
try
just
to do
feel
that
like,
too, yeah.
it causes things to shatter. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like
That I love that. I love the visual I get from
Yeah.
that when you say that.
Yeah.
Because when you hold on to beliefs really strong, instead of gently letting them go, they
or
kind of-
gently just
they
hold
kind of
it. Like, let's see where this goes. How does this fit in my life for now?
Right.
Because I believe that as we live, our lives start to morph and change, and we have to kind of go with the flow. We got to stretch. We got to, we have to
Yeah.
have the ability to stretch,
Right. No, I like that.
and expand, or,
Yeah.
you,
No, I think that makes, to me personally, it just makes a lot of.
yeah.
It may be true, it may not be true, but that's one of those things we're talking about, something that feels right, intuition. I think
Yeah.
for whatever reason that resonates with me.
Yeah.
And I find as I get older, I have to work a bit harder to let go of beliefs that should be let go of.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe more difficult for me to do as I get older as it was maybe when I was in my teens or 20s.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
It's a good question. But I've learned, there are people who invest in careers. They've gone to school. They still probably paying off
Right.
student loans on
Right,
a career. And they just realize, you know what, this sucks. I don't like the way this job makes me feel, or this career makes me feel anymore. It depletes me. It brings down my energy. I'm depressed. I'm cranky. I'm drinking more, and then at that moment, you have to really be honest with yourself. Like, am I going to continue to invest in this? Am I going to continue to pour into this and live a false, life? Like it's a lie. Do I want to just stay the course just because I still have student loan to pay off, and just because just because I went to college for it, and, I'm a surgeon, but I really want to be a painter, You have to be true with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself, no matter what the cost is. You have to be willing to lose it all. You got to be willing to, you got to be willing to just start from zero, no matter what you lose. And when I say no matter what you lose, I mean no matter what you lose, whether that be a spouse, and I know that's going to hit a nerve with some people, but if you can live with yourself after making that decision and your life is better, something you just got to do. You got to cut off who you need to cut off. You have to separate yourself from who you have to separate from, just to be true with you, and it's an investment.
That's awesome.
You got to be willing to lose that investment. It served its purpose at the moment, and it's not serving it now. And life changes. It ebb and flows. You have to be willing to go up the flow, or you're just going to be stuck in a rut.
I get where you're coming from, and what you're describing to me is something called the sunk cost fallacy.
Okay.
And the sunk cost fallacy is exactly what you're describing. It's someone unwilling or unable to do a new thing because they put too much time or energy or money into it.
Yep. Years and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars for some people, millions for others. You got to be willing to cut that cost. Like I said, I have products all over, because I make things too. I make soap. I have products and things all over my shop, at my house, in the storage. And I'm like, dang, I spent that money, but it's all for the search. So I wouldn't say that it's a lost cause. It's tuition. It's a type of tuition to me.
And I like how you think. I like how you think about that, and whatever that experience is brought you to here to this point.
You would have never known unless you did it, and it's okay. It's not a loss. It taught you about what you don't want or what you do want, and what works and don't work.
And the sense is that cost is gone. I mean, you spent it, and
it's gone.
You're not going to get it back.
Nope.
And the fallacy, the incorrectness about it is as what we seem to do as humans is, why do we continue on just because because we already lost something?
Mm-hmm.
Why should that stop us from changing something in the future?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think, and these are high stake sunk cost examples, but but it happens all the time. For example, my wife and I watched, have you ever seen the movie Cats?
I did.
You did?
The musical?
No, the movie.
Oh, no.
Don't.
Don't. Okay.
But it's the kind of thing, like, we watched half of it, and we're sitting there and like, this movie's terrible.
Sucks. Right.
It's like really terrible. But
you tried to hang in there and watch it, and you're like, I would never get those 2 hours back.
We kept watching it because that cost was gone.
Right.
And nothing we can do to get that hour back.
You would not get it back.
But rather than just do something else, we sat there and continued to
on through it.
Yeah, just
maybe it's going to make sense.
Costs.
Maybe it's going to make sense. Maybe it's going to get better. You hoping for? I cut you off.
No, you're saying it perfectly. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and so it's like, we were there for we were there for 1 hour, and then we ended up there for 2 hours, or even longer. It's a long movie.
Wow.
But the sunk cost fallacy,
yes.
and if I maybe thought about it, like, why are we pouring more time, more energy, more effort into this, and I could maybe do something else. And I think that's how I see it, and that's how I often see even beliefs, that sometimes when I believe something and we put so much into it that it's hard for us to escape that belief, if we need to escape it. Not we need to, but if it's something we need to do differently.
Right.
And it seems like you see things similarly.
I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
So with your...
I was raised in the church, and stuff like that. So some people in the church, in Christianity, or, they would look at what I'm doing now with crystals as something taboo or demonic for some. You have some who don't. They're okay with it, but it's kind of frowned upon.
Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of, people are coming to accept it, or kind of wanting to understand it, but still, especially in the South. Up north is way more acceptable, because I used to live in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived there for a while. But coming down here and talking about crystals or things like that, it's
culturally a little different.
Yeah, so I have to be okay. I have to be okay with losing certain friends or family who think that what I'm doing is from the devil, or I'm going to hell, or and I got to be okay with taking a different path.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It can't be pleasant to lose friends and family on account of a belief. And I know it happens all the time for people.
But I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I've started from zero in my life.
Sounds like it.
So many times.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I'm okay with, yeah. Go ahead.
No. If your belief regarding the spiritual and how that feeds into alternative treatments and things like that, if it was incorrect, and again, I'm not the arbiter of truth. I'm not saying whether it is or is not. I only know how confident I think that question, how confident I am in the answer I give myself, and you probably know for you how confident you are in that answer for you. But if it was incorrect, I wonder how we could go about knowing it. Is there a way we could find that out? If there's
of what truth is,
or that specific truth, is there a way we could go about it? Do you think?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Is there a test? Something? Is there like a car test? Me running out in traffic test?
Oh,
Is there
no,
something we could
think
find
it's a
out?
life test. I think whatever the results wind up being in your life and how you feel energetically, that is what the answer is for you. You know, so if you feel that, your life has gone down to shit and what, I'm sorry.
It's all fine. Yeah, you're good.
I'm sorry.
This won't air on the regular television, I assure you.
It depends on the results that you get for your life of what you think is acceptable to determine what, if something was a success or not, I feel, for you personally.
Yeah, and
You
I think the reason why I ask that is, sometimes I wonder if I have a belief that's incorrect, let's just say, and there's no way I could find that out. I couldn't show myself that it was incorrect if it was incorrect, or somebody else couldn't show me. There's no way I could find that out. If it was incorrect, then my concern is that I would go on believing that belief because there's no way to show me otherwise.
I don't know. I think that things bear fruit. What fruit are you bearing in your life based on the beliefs that you have? Is it making life hellish for you? Is it improving your life? How's it affect you emotionally?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, in your case, with your belief, how it affects you emotionally, does that speak to whether the belief is true or not?
Well, it's not just, it's the overall thing. It's mental, emotional, physical, financial. It all works. It's a whole.
Well, for example, let's say inside my house, there's a closet. Mm-hmm. And I haven't checked, but I believe, to my core, I believe that in that closet, there is stacks and stacks of gold bullion. I've never checked, but I believe it. And because I believe it, it makes me happier. I do more for other people. I have less stress because I'm not worried about money, obviously. So me believing it, there's a positive reason. But let's just say, for the point of this thought experiment, that that's not true. That closet just has some shoes in it.
And you believed it? And
I
your
believe
life reflected that?
I believe it, but it's not true.
Right. So again, it goes back to fruit. You can believe it, but if you can't cash those bullions of gold in to sustain yourself or to, the physical, this physical and the spirit, to me, works together.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that, is it possible with your belief, and I don't have the answer, and that's why I'm asking you, mm-hmm. that you could have a belief, this belief maybe, that has great benefit from you emotionally, but for whatever reason might not be true.
But in other areas...
might not be true. I mean, what do you think?
If you're not bearing good fruit and you're not able to see the results manifested, then...
But let's say it is bearing fruit. You're happier. You believe it and you're happier, but it's still not true. I believe that there's gold.
It's still not physically true?
Right. I believe that there's gold bullion. Mm-hmm. And it makes me happier. It is not true.
Hey, to each his own. If you think that it's gold, like in there, you haven't opened the door to look in there, or you just believe that it's in there and you just happy.
I don't want to check.
Again, you things manifest from the spirit into the natural.
How do we know that?
I'll let you have that one.
I don't have the answer. I don't know.
I'll let you have it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what I was asking you. Yeah. And these are hard questions. These are difficult questions. And I really appreciate you hanging in there and talking to me about that. I know...
it's entertaining. It gets my mental juices flowing and stuff. It's very stimulating. Like not in a... You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like intellectually.
All good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Shoot, like I said, I don't hold anything tight.
Yeah.
I don't.
I like that.
I don't hold
I like
anything
that.
tight.
And I don't usually tell people what I'm thinking, but I like that aspect of you. I do, because that's something I've thought about and struggled with in my life. I don't want to hold on to things too tightly.
Yeah.
My beliefs,
Not a
personally
belief,
speaking.
not a person, not a thing, not a job, not money,
How do we go about that?
nothing.
What's the best way to go about that? Like, not holding on to these beliefs so super tightly that we can let them go when we need to, if we need to.
I mean, it's not easy because, shoot, the first couple times I hit zero or rock bottom or, having to start a reset, it wasn't easy. It's very traumatic. You know what I'm saying?
I bet. Well, when that, you don't have to go into it, but during whatever it is you're thinking about, the traumatic experience, what finally got you out of the belief? What moved you away from that belief into another belief? What did it take? How did you know to do that?
How did I know to
leave that belief and try another one?
Oh, because I could tell by the fruit. It wasn't bearing the fruit that I wanted or that I needed for myself and for my life and for my children. I couldn't keep it. To keep it would have been,
So I think you're telling me, like, the belief you have with the spiritual and how that controls alternative therapy, and if that no longer bared fruit for you, then you would be less.
I would be open to, well, maybe I'm not right. Let's see.
Would you be less confident in the belief?
Well, absolutely. If it's not bearing a fruit, yeah, let it go. Let it go. I don't hold on to anything that's just not bearing good fruit.
Yeah, I like
good
that.
fruit for me. What I think good fruit is. If it's affecting me in a negative way, energetically, mentally, emotionally, it's depleting my life and things are just falling apart all around, something you gotta reevaluate.
Yeah,
you gotta reevaluate.
Right. I really try to be, when I have these conversations with people, or especially people as open as you, and when you're having a conversation, it really helps, that I really find myself thinking about, am I talking about this correctly? Am I thinking about this in a proper way, about beliefs and how I'm holding on to them, and what we're talking about before, and subjective truths, and I really, it helps me too, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. If I find out, hey, this crystal thing really is a bunch of crap, gotta shut down shop, rethink some things, recalibrate. What is truth for me, Yeah.